It is Jobs Week this week, but hey, let's face it, everything is hinging on what happens in Iran this week. There is so much going on with the Tripoli coming into theater and unknown numbers of spec ops forces also going into the theater. What is the next move for the United States and Israel? And quite frankly, what is Iran's response going to be? So these things are going to weigh heavily as we end the month of March and get into April, the second quarter. We are already one quarter of the way through 2026. Are you where you need to be to achieve your goals? How are you doing with your personal and your professional goals? Well, guess what? If you haven't met those goals yet, you still got 3/4 of the year to do it. But if you keep doing the same things you did the first quarter and you're not happy with the results, you need to change them. I tell you what, one of the things that I watched this Diary of a CEO podcast, and that's a shortened version, not the full 2-hour version, 29-minute version with James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, and it is amazing. You gotta watch it. Beyond what's going on with the rate update, there's a link below. Here's one of my favorite takeaways. The heaviest weight in the gym is the front door. Mind blown. Oh my God, that is so insane. Let's dive deep into Iran and the Middle East. I already talked about the flow of forces into the Middle East, especially American forces. We're talking Marines, we're talking airborne, we're talking SEAL teams. This one hits close to home because I have a son-in-law who is actually in the Navy and is probably going to be going into theater. So this is certainly something that I'm concerned with. But they are flowing in. And why are they flowing in? Are we going into a conventional ground war? And probably not, but there are some things that Iran has that we want to make sure are not operable. Whether it's missiles, uranium, the tools to make nuclear bombs, nuclear weapons. Quite frankly, I think that's one of those things that has to be done. But I'm all the way in Hawaii, so what do I know? But I will tell you this. The flow of oil. All right, we're talking about what's impacting rates this week. Oil prices. We have the Strait of Hormuz. It's largely been shut down. Will it be open this week? Saudi Arabia, they have a pipeline, so they knew that this was going to happen. All right, they've been preparing for this for a while, and they have a pipeline, and that goes right into the Red Sea. So basically, due west from Saudi Arabia goes right into the Red Sea. They are usually pumping about 1 to maybe 2 million barrels a day. Right now, they are at max capacity. They're pumping 7 million barrels a day into their port in the Red Sea. Now, what is the impact of that? That's great news. Well, the Houthi rebels in Yemen have now joined the war supporting Iran. And they have said that any shipping going through the Red Sea is going to be targeted. So how effective will they be in stopping that flow of oil? That's a huge number, 7 million barrels a day. So really, what is going to happen, we will see as we move forward this week. But a lot going on. And guess what? None of that we control right now. We're just really on the sidelines and leaning on our president and the administration and, of course, the military forces in the region to achieve objectives that bring peace and stability, maybe regime change, but also bring oil prices back down. Then the longer this war... It's a war, let's face it. The longer this war goes on, the worse impact this is going to have on inflation, which leads to higher mortgage rates, which leads to a housing market that will really, it started off so great this year, really strong start to the year. It's going to put the brakes on that, and we will enter basically the fourth year of what I would say is a housing recession. So let's talk about the jobs news. This is Jobs Week, and really right out the gate, I know the chart says that Fed Chair Powell speaking. Fed Chair Powell is speaking not on Monday the 30th, but on the 31st per his calendar at Harvard. He's on a panel discussion. And rest assured, what he says will have an impact on mortgage rates as we get into the week. And that's on Tuesday. We also have Case-Shiller home price indices. So basically, that is the gold standard for home price appreciation across the country. We'll get a read on where home price appreciation is. I would say this, I think, is for January. it's late, guys. It's never real time. But January, I would say we'll probably see some home prices go up, but we'll see. Previous 1.4. Yep. So the expectation is that home prices will have gone up maybe a tenth of a point from 1.4 to 1.5. We also have consumer confidence report and then the job opening labor turnover survey. That is really the first jobs report of the week. Previous was 6.55 million and the consensus is 6.7. So if the number of jobs comes in higher, you know what? That will impact rates, but not that much. Wednesday, that starts at real big, folks. All right, Wednesday, we get the ADP private sector jobs report. This is basically the private sector. ADP, they do almost all of our paychecks if we're not in the military. And the number of jobs from last month was 63,000 new jobs. The expectation is that it'll be a little lower this month at 42,000 jobs. So we'll see how that goes. We also have a retail sales report. Think if that is a bad report, meaning it's below estimates, that's going to be good for mortgage rates. We also have an ISM manufacturing report on Wednesday. Thursday, we have more jobs reports. We have the Challenger job cuts. We have initial and continuing jobless claims. Will we continue to get closer to 2 million in continuing claims? We're right around 1.82 right now. A big number will push that closer to that 2 million mark, which quite frankly is going to be one of those red lines that when we meet, it's going to force the Fed to really take action. And then Friday. Friday's a big one. On Friday, the bond market is closed, so we really won't see any movement on interest rates. Closed for Good Friday. This is a BLS Jobs Report day. This is the major money maker. Last month, the BLS Jobs Report, we had minus 92,000 jobs reported. That was big. Now, the question is, was that an anomaly? Or was that the harbinger of things to come? So right now, this month, the consensus is going to be 48,000 new jobs added. If it comes in below that, if we get another negative number, that is good news from the standpoint of interest rates. It'll bring them down. And it might convince, based on the jobs market or the labor market, it might give some Fed members just the thought of maybe making a Fed rate cut. And really, they've been talking about labor for a while, but you see in the labor, they don't want the labor market to shrink. They don't want to see all these job losses. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, they are looking at inflation as well, but that BLS jobs report is huge. Unemployment. Last month, we were at 4.4%. Will we go up to 4.5% this month or higher? So really, those are the big numbers coming in. We also have another ISM. We have a non-manufacturing report. And remember, the bond market is closed, so we won't see the impact of that really until the following week. But Friday's going to be huge. This whole week, every day is going to be a big week. Let's face it. And what the president says and what the president does, everything impacts the market. President wants oil prices down. President wants inflation down. You know he's going to be working towards that. He and his administration, and that's what we've seen so far. You know, I almost forgot the rates for the week. I almost forgot the rates as we start the week. Conventional, we're over 6.5 right now. Heading up to 6.7, and VA, we're just around 6.12. So really, if you're looking at a range, you're looking 6 to 6.25. Really, the ARM rates are probably where the best rates are going to be right now. VA 5-1 ARMs, I'm seeing mid 5s right now, so that's still pretty good. I wouldn't let the high rates now deter you. As a matter of fact, it's going to make your offer stand out because there'll be fewer offers going in. So that's what I got for you this week. Thank you all for those who have been praying for my mom. Thank you all. I truly appreciate it. It means the world to me and to my family. And I'm we're not out of the woods yet. But again, thank you. You all have a blessed week and hug the ones you love. Forego that conversation because you might miss the opportunity altogether. All right, have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Aloha.